You're listening to The Real Fan Review with Hav, Sanj, Al, and B.
What's going on, podcasters and YouTubers? This is Hav here, one of your hosts from The Real Fan Review. Today with me, we got B.
Hola.
We got our man in the chair, Al.
How's it going, everybody?
Yeah, today, guys, we're talking about that Transformers War for Cybertron Chapter 1, Siege.
Yeah.
And we're also going to get into some of the news from this week, including that AMC Universal deal that drove Al crazy. Also, we're getting into a Choose Your Own Adventure movie and the movies for August, because apparently movie theaters are opening this month. So we'll see if any of us are willing to risk it for the biscuit. Oh, man. So, and if we have enough time, we'll get into like a rankings for our top 3 Transformer movies, since we're talking about Transformers today. So let's just get right into it. Let's get with the news first. Al,
Okay.
you told me you saw this news about the AMC Universal deal there, and deal seems a little crazy. So if anybody doesn't know what we're talking about as far as the AMC Universal deal, what it is Universal signed with AMC theaters that they can have their new movies played in those theaters for 17 days or 3 weekends, and then it can premium video on demand, which means that it'll go for like $20, $25 on video on demand on your cable boxes or, online, iTunes, things like that. Then after that, it'll follow a normal window. And from that normal window, it'll then, release in 3 months like it's normally been doing. But that whole thing is just absolutely crazy. Not sure if it really can go through, but Al, what's your thoughts on that contract or that deal?
I knew something like this was going to have to be struck between the movie theaters and the production companies, because the longer this situation drags out, the more you're seeing these movie theaters suffer. I mean, from the big ones down to all the way to the small ones. Now, how this deal is going to keep them afloat, we'll see once it starts, because it is kind of a help to both, in the sense that AMC does get, I think, 10% of the VOD proceeds for any movie that they do put on VOD. But at the same time, so I think it does, without seeing how it plays out, to me just right now, I think it does help both of them, because if movies come out and they don't do well, it only gives Universal 17 days before they can say, all right, let's get it put to the people in their homes. Right. They don't have to wait 90 days and suffer through 90 days of poor sales, making a movie maybe look like it's not doing well before they can do something about it. And maybe it's just that people are too scared to come out. And then at the same time, once Universal pulls it and puts it on VOD, AMC is still getting some money. So they're not completely losing out in this scenario. So I think it's a win-win, as best of a win-win as you can have given the current state. I'm just interested to see if AMC can get any of these other companies on board. Because now, since they didn't jump on board as early as AMC did, Universal did, I think AMC is demanding now 20% of the VOD revenue after the 17 days.
Sounds kind of crazy. But I know the rule right now is still one of those things where they can put it to, video on demand. They don't have to do it within 17 days. It's just they can if they want to. But I think for movies like blockbuster movies, when it comes to Universal, you're thinking Fast and Furious, and you're thinking, Jurassic Park, those themes, those big movie franchises kind of thing. I think those movies like those, they'll let them ride in the theaters for as long as they can. But for those, for those not so big hits, movies that may not get the attention, they'll move them over to this video on demand service. Now, B, I don't know about you, but I think they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot. I hear what Al's saying at this moment in time with the pandemic, they may be saving grace, but I think after the pandemic or after this, stuff goes away, they're kind of shooting themselves on the foot, because, again, what's the guarantee that Universal won't just put anything on demand? And us as movie fanatics, we'll go to the theaters to see anything. But there's a lot of people out there that'll say, oh, if I just wait, 3 weekends, I'll see it at home.
And there's plenty of people who can't see a movie at that timing, whether it's a job situation, whether it's kids. There's a lot of people who really can't see a movie until 4 weeks in. You know, I think about it like when we went to go see Eric in Virginia. You know, that was the first time he had saw Into the Spider-Verse, and that was like almost 2 months after the movie came out. But that's because of the timing on his end. There was a movie he wanted to see, but you know, with the timing of his life, he couldn't. So that hurts a lot of movie theaters, because at that point, someone like Eric can say, "Oh, the movie's on my TV right now. I can watch it." And the other thing too is that's going to hurt everyone after. Let's be honest. When that 3 weeks is up and that movie hits video on demand, the first thing that's happening to that video is it's being encoded and being put online to be pirated. So that means, like, let me tell you something. I remember when you asked us to watch the Kevin Bacon movie. I had a friend of mine. Yeah, you should have left. I remember the day it came out. One of my friends was like, "Bro, I already saw it." I was like, "How'd you see it came out like 1 o'clock in the morning?" He goes, "How you think I saw it?" So it was one of those things. I'm like, well, you know, but at the same time, it's at this situation. Say Fast and the Furious, 9 comes out at Fast 9. After 3 weeks, it's in the movie theaters. The first day it's on demand. What's happening? It's being pirated in high definition 4K, and that's going out through the whole internet. And now everyone loses money. The movie theaters, video on demand, everyone's losing money now because that is so easily accessible in a high definition format. So that's just going to hurt business, because if that's everything Universal is going to put out, that means that everything Universal's putting out is going on pirated websites immediately. Yeah, and that's going to hurt business for every movie.
Yeah. And another one who's making a similar point to that was, well, not similar, but is not on board with this is Disney. So because
not at all.
They put out, you got to think about it, they usually dominate. I think they account for 40% of all movie reviews and everything at the theater. Plus, a lot of their movies tend to be family oriented. So
they made like 11 billion last year in the box office.
Yeah. So imagine like us, it's you. Figure even if you just have one child, it's definitely you and a child. So you're talking about $32, or if not more, depending on what your movie theater charges for tickets. Yeah. And then concession food and everything. So now if that movie comes out and if you only have to wait 17 days and you can get it for $20 at home.
Right.
So that's Disney saying, what family person is not going to say, I'd rather just pay the $120 fee and save all that money on ticket sales, save all that money on concession, and just watch it from home. I mean, it's not the same experience, but they're saving a lot. So and that's why some of these...
Yeah, they'll keep going now. So I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, that's why some of the movie companies seem to be not on board. But I was surprised with Disney because they have their own avenue to put this out there. And so it'll just be interesting to see how all this continues to play out with the way ticket sales start once they start opening these theaters.
Absolutely, man. Just real quick, Brandon, before you start, Brandon, just let everybody know Sanj has entered the building. So, fans, your boy Sanj is here.
I'm back. No. Hey guys, how's it going?
Going good, man. Listen, Sanj, you may want to back up off the mic a little bit, man. It's coming out crazy loud.
Sorry about
that. There you go.
How's that, fellas?
Oh, that's even better right there. All right, awesome, man. Now, Sanj, so what we're talking about is this AMC Universal deal that came out this week. The 17-day release window, and movies going on video on demand. And I don't know. I was just about to tell Brandon. I mean, I think because Universal did this kind of in a silly way here, where they only made the deal with AMC. There's a bunch of different movie theater chains. You got Regal, you got Cineworld, you got all these different movie theater places, and they only made the deal with AMC. So I don't know if their get was to pressure all the theaters to do what AMC did, or if this is a play just at AMC from Universal. It just doesn't seem to make sense what they're doing there by doing that deal strictly with one theater. You know what I mean? Because what you're going to do is you're going to alienate all the other theaters. Those theaters are then going to be like, you know what? Then just play your movies at AMC. If you're just going to put it on video on demand in 17 days, then why should we even hold it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the business world is all about exclusivity, right? So when people put stuff out, they're always trying to everyone's trying to get market share. So if the more inclusive a deal is, it eliminates market share, right? Because everybody can have it. Whereas if you partner with one person, they're hoping that everybody runs to that one area, and they have, like, let's say, the most amount of theaters around. That's what they're hoping in the most populous areas, and then they're the ones that get all the money. That's
right.
That's what it is from a business sense. I mean, it's sound business, tactics.
That's gonna suck. I mean, luckily for us, we have our AMC. What was the name of the AMC Prime? Is it what we have?
Movie Pass
or something.
Something like where we got three movies a week for $20.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, and when you look at it, they have theaters in a lot of around here. They have theaters in a lot of the big malls and the big shopping areas where they have restaurants. So centers where people would go, like, all right, let's go get something to eat. Let's go see a movie. Let's go do some shopping. Right. They're trying to get all of that together, and it's smart.
Yeah, I just feel like if that's the one step that happens to lead to something else, I don't then want to have a movie subscription with another theater because they have a deal with Disney. You know what I mean? Like that's something I don't want to happen. I don't want to just go to AMC just because they have all the Universal movies, and then I have to go to Regal to see the Disney movies and go somewhere else to see the other movies.
Well,
so
remember,
hopefully that's not something that happens.
The movie studios have to be willing to put their movies out as well. Like Universal saying, "Hey, we're willing to put our movies out." So they like, let's say AMC couldn't force Disney into a deal or force any other movie house into a deal. Universal may be the one saying, "Hey, we're willing to put our movies out." So.
All right. So listen, on this topic, I got two last questions for you. So the first question, Brandon, you get to get this one first. If you have a 17-day window, how many movies are you going to just wait till it comes out on home video?
I mean, all the movies that don't seem, and I don't want to say worth it, but I want to see the movies that we're not looking forward to, or the movies that I'll wait to see at home. Like Trolls 2 came out, and Trolls 2 isn't something that I'm going to rush to the movie theaters to see. It may not even be something I go to the movie theaters to see in general. I may wait on it. The fact that it came out at home was a plus. Oh, I needed something to watch because there was nothing at the time to watch anyway. So It's movies like that. But like if a Marvel movie comes out, if Fast 9 comes out, if something big comes out that we're really excited for, I'm going to go to the movies to see it.
All right. And Al, if it's not Fast and Furious, you're going to wait the 17 days?
It depends on the movie, kind of like what Brandon was saying. It depends on the movie. Like there's some of those movies where you need to experience it in a theater. Those I may still depend, once everything is permissible to go to a theater, I would probably go to a theater for. But for those movies where it's more story driven and you don't need the experience of a theater, and you have, like, we all got nice stereo systems, nice, TVs and everything to experience it on. So if I can enjoy it just as well in my living room, and I just have to wait 3 weeks now, as opposed to 3 months, 4 months, I may wait a couple of weeks and just pay the $20, even though that's more than the ticket price I would have paid. But now I can get everybody to watch it. I can pause it if I need to run to the bathroom real quick, if I want to get something, So, that's what I'm saying. There's so many little nuances to these situations and experiences that I guess you got to take what you can get to see about the most profitability given the circumstances.
Gotcha, man. And Sanj, yourself, man, are you going to be only like the big blockbuster movies are going to tempt you to go see these things, and the rest you'll just wait, right?
Yeah, I'll just wait. I mean, it's not going to change my movie watching habits. Like just like before, whatever's part of our deal, I'll go see it. And the ones that we gotta see, we'll go see in the theater. And other than that, we'll wait for it to come out because it is convenient.
Yeah. And then the last question I have on this topic, Sanj, I'll go to you first on this one, man. Is your thoughts on other big movie production studios doing a similar deal? Do you think this is like something in the pipeline, or do you think this is going to be the one that's going to be like, we're not going to go through with this contract?
I think definitely like other movie houses are watching to see what kind of reaction this gets. So if people flock to the theater for this, they're going to be like, oh man, we're missing out on some money here. And if it's a big hit and it works, then other places are going to follow suit. People don't believe in reinventing the wheel. If it works, they go with it.
I hear you. And Al, man, yourself, man, do you think this is the first of many dominoes to fall?
I think it's the first one, but whether more fall will depend on what we as the viewers do. I mean, if we start coming out in droves, then there's no need to put it out on VOD, and I don't think any other deals would be made. But if they open up the theaters and a handful of people are going to the theater and they're staying at home, and now you're missing out on at least 20% of what you could have made by letting these people just put it out, you may start seeing a couple more deals get made.
All right, and Brandon, man, same question for you, Brandon. You think this is like one of the first things to happen, and then down the road we'll get a couple more theaters to do the same thing? Because I can't see AMC getting 10%, then Regal gets another 10%, somebody else gets 15%. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't think this is. I actually don't think this is going to go through. I don't think this is going to be a thing. Because, I think about the situation that caused this to happen in the first place, and it was Universal deciding to release movies on video on demand that ended up being wildly successful because of the time that we're in. And this is AMC's way of saying, we got to save the money. So if they're saying it needs to be in the theaters for 3 weeks, and the movie theaters end up being closed for August because of COVID, and end up being closed for September, that just means Universal can't put out that movie. And, so I'm seeing this as kind of like a scapegoat marketing. And not really using this as a ploy to move further along with other movie theaters. I think this is just going to be the word for the now until COVID is over. I don't think this is going to be a thing. I just thought AMC got scared because Universal was so successful without them.
I got you, man. I think in my final opinion on this is just, this honestly should be a contract for the time being. It shouldn't be a contract that lasts from here on out because of the situation that's going on now. Look at Major League Baseball right now, thinking about stopping the season and everything going on. And we never know about a second wave. We don't know how long things are going to go until we get this new vaccine, period, or, people start taking the vaccine. So still we're ways along the path there to get to a place where we're back to absolute normal. So I can see this happening for theaters now where, hey, yeah, you know what? We tried for 3 weeks to put the movie out in the theater. We can't wait no more. We're just going to put it on video on demand and make some money. So I can see that happening. But for this to be from here on out, I can't see it, man. Absolutely not. So. All right, man. So listen, let's go to our second thing of news this week, which is a trailer was released this weekend for Batman: A Death in the Family. San sent me the link over there. And, San, since you sent the link, let's go over it first, man. The trailer looked pretty good. It reminded me of one of my favorite DC animated movies, which is Red Hood. That was one of my favorites, one of the best DC animated movies I've seen. So it looks like it's doing like a prequel to that, but then it was a funny little twist at the end. It's a choose your own adventure.
Yes, yes, it is.
I've seen things play with this. I think there was a episode of Black Mirror that did the same thing, kind of thing, where you could choose what happens to the person.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure.
Bandersnatch.
Bandersnatch. So, Sans, what's your opinion, man? Are you interested in this Batman: A Death in the Family?
Oh, of course. That's why I sent you the trailer. Right. So the footage that they have of Robin getting beat down and like crawling towards the door to try to get out of that warehouse there, that's actual footage that was in the Red Hood.
Right.
So at the beginning of the Red Hood, that's in there. So I mean, I'm excited for it because this story, I mean, as much as in movie form, it's a prequel to Under the Red Hood. That story was out before Under the Red Hood because the Death in the Family was a comic that was out. So I thought they should have done that movie first and then continued with Under the Red Hood. So I'm excited for it.
You're excited for it. Al, man, yourself, you excited? You see the trailer, and what do you think about this whole choose your adventure kind of thing?
Well, I didn't get to see the trailer, but I thought the concept was good. Only because I'm glad you guys brought up Bandersnatch because I saw that movie when it came out. I found the concept interesting. It made me watch the movie several times because I wanted to see all the different scenarios that might play out based on the different decisions. So if they get credit for a view every time every viewer gets to do that, I can only imagine how many views this movie is going to get just from people trying to play out all the different scenarios. So, I mean, I don't know how well it could grow into like a niche in terms of movies, but it's definitely something interesting to see it play out and how it can go. Because sometimes, especially me, sometimes I yell at the movie telling the character what to do. So to see that they actually can listen now, I want to see how that goes.
All right,
what?
I'm ready,
what
man.
are you doing? Oh my God!
Don't open that door.
I'm interested. Like I loved Under the Red Hood. When I saw the trailer, I was really interested in the fact that just like Bandersnatch, you had the ability to not just choose whether he lives or survives. You kind of choose the outcome of how he survives as well. Like there was a third option there, like barely survives, like whatever, or barely makes it out. But you also get to choose what happens after that point on, no matter what the scenario. And I was interested a lot because at one point, I don't know if you guys know, but he becomes Red Robin, and that's interesting because that's Tim Drake's Robin later on. So It's interesting to see what happens when he continues on and he actually becomes Red Robin instead of Tim Drake. So now you're taking out a third boy wonder, of the movie, and then you get to do his moral high ground. You get to choose along the way how his morality may change throughout the movie, whether he just stays good and it's all fine, or what happens afterwards. So I think the concept there is really awesome because, you get the story that was never in a comic. You get to see how this alternate side happens, that you never got to see before, so you can't really foretell it. So I think that's an awesome choice to have.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty excited for it. I find it very interesting that it's a choose your own adventure because I actually remember when this thing came out, The Death in the Family, and the most fucked up part about it was people got to choose if Robin actually died before the comic came out, and people chose for him to go. Like, I don't know if people were like that annoyed with him. I always liked Robin, so I didn't personally vote, but if I did, I would have voted for him to stay alive. And I can't believe how many people voted for him to be killed off. So
everyone said that Jason Todd was their least favorite Robin.
Yeah. So I mean, they voted for him to get killed off, and I see that that's the angle of this movie. Why they made this one a choose your own adventure is because that's what happened to Robin in real life. So it was like a choice people had to make. So it's pretty interesting. I'm definitely looking forward to it, especially if it has anything to do with Red Hood. I'm all about it. So I'm going to definitely check that out. Absolutely, man. And then our last bit of news for this week, man, is that movies are trying to open up this month. So let's see what's going on because I got a little thing here saying what's coming out for August, and I'm wanting to see if you guys are willing to risk it, the biscuit. All right. So for August, they got New Mutants coming out at the end of the month, Unhinged with Russell Crowe there, the Inception re-release with the Wonder Woman 84 trailer and also a Dune trailer. So these movies are supposed to come out next year, so they're going to give you trailers for the first time on the Inception re-release there. An American Pickle, which is on HBO. We got Antebellum, still saying it's going to come out, but we're not sure if that's going to move. The One and Only Ivan on Disney+. So, fellas, any of those movies there willing to risk it for?
Well, it seems like two of those are coming out on streaming services, so they'll probably be out.
Al, man, any one of those movies gets you thinking about see it. I mean, we're trying to beg New Mutants online, but it's coming out on theaters, man.
I mean, they made us wait 4 years. I'll wait 4 months for it to be on demand. So it's not making me risk going out there for that. And I don't think there's gonna be a movie that'll make me risk it. So
I hear you, man. Sanj, yourself, man. What you thinking? Any movies here got you thinking like, you know what? I'm gonna go check it out.
Probably New Mutants. I mean, look, I work in a hospital. Nothing don't scare me. I'll put on my mask.
The hazmat suit.
I'll go get some scuba gear.
The level 2 mask.
Level 2 mask. Honestly, in reality, I probably won't go to the theater. I'll think about it though. I'll be very tempted to go to the theater if I know it's open and New Mutants is in there. But in the end, I probably won't go. Seriously.
I hear you, man. Yeah, the ones that when I saw the list, I'm like, okay, what was it? The American Pickle? Yeah, on HBO Plus. Yeah, I'll watch it. And there was another movie there that was like, oh, it's online. Okay, let's do it. Just like Sanjay just said,
the American Pickle, slightly above average.
Oh my god! Yeah, the only movie that's coming out that's making me think about it, is New Mutants. That's the only thing. But like Al just said, we waited 4 years for this movie. Waiting another 4 months that it comes out on video. We'll probably do it that way. It's probably the safest way.
If you want, we could just like buy an entire row and you just sit at one end and I'll sit at one end. I mean, if you want, I'll go out. Yeah, I'll go halvesies.
Yeah, I'll be there with my spray. Brandon, how about you, man? Any of those movies coming out in August that making you think, wow.
We got 2 thumbs down. Oh man.
So you're watching American People with me, huh? And the one and only Ivan on Disney Plus. Right?
That's it. We could do a double feature. It's fine.
Listen, man, I don't blame anyone that is second guessing going to these theaters or not thinking about going to these movies. But at the same time, movie fanatics out there, I do understand that sometimes something like New Mutants is something that you guys cannot wait to see and you want to go see. What I'll advise everyone is if you are going to see it, just be careful, be safe. You know what to do.
Mask up.
Mask up. You know, no popcorn. If you do popcorn, you got to sneak it under the mask. But you know, bring your little what is it? The Purells there, the little hand ones. Bring it with you. Be safe out there and be careful. All right. So that's our news for the week. Let's go right into the nitty gritty review of the week, guys. This week, I was about to say New Mutants again. Transformers: War of Cybertron Chapter 1 Siege came out. We are all Transformers fans, especially my boy Sanj right there. Let's just say Netflix has been killing it this year with the movies that they're putting out. And then Transformers Siege came out to the fans. You know, people older than me have loved Transformers. So let's see what the guys thought. Let's go non-spoilers really quick. Brandon, what was your thoughts of Transformers War of Cybertron Siege?
I thought it was an incredible start. You know, I'm excited to see where it goes and how many chapters come after this. You know, I thought I wasn't expecting what I got, and I was really happy with what I got.
Gotcha. Yeah. And Al, you're saying for you, and just real quick, Brandon, there's 2 more chapters coming. It's Chapter 1, Chapter 2, and Chapter 3. It's supposed to be like a 3-hour movie, but they cut it down to 6 episodes per chapter. So that's what it is there. Al, your thoughts on Transformers War of Cybertron?
Definitely, it impressed me. I didn't know what to expect when I watched it, but I definitely liked it. It was an interesting take on how they did the animation and the way they told the story. Given that it was an animation, it was more real. So it was a story that I would have expected from the real life, I guess if you want to call it the CGI versions we get that are with actual people in it. It was a story worthy of that, like the way it developed the characters, the way it developed the backdrop behind what happened before it. Yeah. They did it in a way that it didn't feel, it was a cartoon, but it didn't feel like a cartoon.
Gotcha. And Science, for yourself, man, spoiler free, what you think of Transformers War of Cybertron there?
So like you said, Netflix has been killing it. I don't feel like they killed me on this one. I feel like they poked me real hard, and I felt it. You know what I'm saying? But listen, I liked it, but I wasn't overly impressed with it. Yeah. The young man who voiced Optimus Prime is not Peter Cullen, who is normally the voice of Optimus Prime. However, if you go on YouTube, like he has other videos where he does a much better voice, like, and he sounds exactly like Peter Cullen doing Optimus Prime. So his voice was it kind of sounded like it's supposed to, but you could tell that it was somebody different. What I felt that he didn't, while he captured the sound of the voice, I don't feel that he captured the personality of Optimus Prime very well. But I mean, putting it up against the guy who's been doing Optimus Prime for damn near 40 years, I mean, it's not going to be perfect. But I
also kind of felt that was intentional. Given the story.
Yeah, but I mean, this is not necessarily, this is a new story, but not necessarily and a story that is out of the realm of what's been told before. It's like, okay, the Transformers on Cybertron before they showed up on Earth, like showing them during the war. So it's kind of, I wish it had been a little bit more feel. I didn't like some of the animation because I felt like the robots or the Autobots and the Decepticons, they looked bulky. So I did not necessarily like the art of how they moved and everything, but I liked how it culminated. Like the ending, the last 2 episodes I thought were very, very good compared to the first few episodes, and that they ended well. So I mean, if I was giving it out of 5, I would give it 3 out of 5. Not great, good.
Gotcha. And for myself, man, I definitely enjoyed watching it because it was a callback to my youth, right? I was watching Transformers way back in the days when I was like, 7, 8 years old. And now here they are again. I'm 40, 42 years old right now. So, I'm watching these things and I'm like, I'm seeing certain characters. I'm like, oh. And then there were certain characters I was like, now I know why I never heard of you. Like
I like your figure.
I like that they gave Ultra Magnus a bigger role, and like he's not just like a big truck there as well.
Yeah.
Like how the Alpha Trion was explaining that him and Optimus got the Matrix, and Ultra Magnus got the Alpha Trion protocol and all the knowledge and everything, saying that like not one Autobot can have all of the knowledge, because part of like the original story is that all of the knowledge of the primes was in the Matrix. So not only did Optimus have the Matrix of leadership, he had all of the knowledge as well.
Right. And everything.
And right. So like, and in reality, absolute power like that would corrupt somebody. So that, I like that they gave Ultra Magnus a bigger role in the story. Oh wait! No spoiler alert! Sorry.
It's all good.
I forgot. I'm sorry.
No worries, man. So listen, guys, we're gonna go into the spoiler review because it is kind of hard to talk about this stuff without spoilers. So just a real quick, like for me, man. Again, I'm on Sanjay's end on this thing where I wasn't too excited about what I saw in the end, and even after watching all 6 episodes, I kind of left it feeling like, at least I get to see my Transformers again. I saw characters that brought me back to old memories of playing with these toys and, transforming. As soon as I heard the first, I was sold, you know what I mean?
Yep.
But and you heard it throughout the entire, time that the movie was playing. But it was a really good story, something I've never seen before as far as for Transformers goes. But again, I don't want to say it didn't impress me, but it wasn't something that left me with like, oh man, I can't wait for the next chapter. It was more like, all right, I'm cool waiting for the next chapter. I will look forward to chapter 2, but on chapter 1 there, for me at least.
I definitely didn't feel about this the way I felt after the first live action movie.
Right.
After the first live action movie, like I was amped and I was like, oh my God, this is incredible.
Absolutely, man. So listen, real quick, we're just going to give our own little review of what we think of the movie, and then we'll go right into spoilers. So for myself, I'm going to say you don't need to rush to see this. If you're a Transformers fan, of course, give it a look. But if you're not a Transformers fan, I'm sure that there's other Transformer movies that may get you more excited about Transformers, and then you'll probably come back to this. But it's not you don't need to rush to see this movie for me. Brandon, how about for yourself?
Oh, you go ahead, Sanj.
Yeah, but you'll run out of stuff to watch. You'll watch it anyway.
Brandon, what's your review on this real quick?
For me, like, I agree on the fact that it didn't feel like a movie to me. It felt like another Transformer series, and I think that's why I appreciate it more, is because it was almost like a retelling of the G1 Transformers, which I was not alive for, but, I do know of it very well. So
thanks for making us feel old.
But it seemed like another cartoon series. So anytime there's a Transformers cartoon series, I'm always amped for it because I'm waiting to see my favorites, to see what they look like and how they interact. I don't know if anyone knows, but Jetfire is my absolute favorite Transformer across the board.
Oh wow!
So for Jetfire to be in this one from the get-go, I was super pumped.
All right, cool, man. And so your final rating on that?
I would say give it a shot. If you enjoy Transformers as a series, as a series of cartoons, not a series of movies, and I distinct that very clearly as a series, then definitely watch it because it's a Transformers series and it's awesome.
All right, Al, yourself, man. What's your review for this?
Yeah, same thing. What you guys are saying. I'll watch it, especially if you grew up on Transformers or if you're into that genre of movie like the anime or anything along those lines. You'll enjoy it. It's a different, especially if you want to see a different take on it. And once we get into the spoilers, I'll explain a little bit more why I feel like it's a different take on the Transformer story. But yeah, it's definitely enjoyable.
Gotcha, man. And Sanj, yourself, your review for it?
Yeah, I agree with you guys. Like, I mean, if you're a fan, it's good enough. It's good enough to watch and you'll enjoy it. But it's not in the upper echelon of Transformers.
Gotcha, man. All right, guys. So listen, that's our spoiler-free review of the Transformers War for Cybertron Siege Chapter 1. We're going to go right into the spoilers now. So we're going to give you guys to the count of 5, 4, 3, and you got to get the hell up out of here. 2, 1. You don't want to hear nothing from here. So spoiler time. Let's get right into it. Al, man, tell me about this story, man. Did you like the story that they were telling for Siege?
I like the way they told it. And the reason why I say is because in the past, when I've watched Transformers, the cartoons, and even the live action movies that they later released, everything was very simplistic in terms of the interaction. There was always the Autobots, which were the good guys, the Decepticons, which were the bad guys. And I don't remember ever leaving any of those stories thinking there was anybody that existed on Cybertron or whatever that wasn't either one. Yeah. Whereas in this story, you feel like there's two factions, but not everybody's either one. Like there's people on Cybertron that are living and they're neither. You had the Guardians, which were their own. They were staying out of the fight.
Omega Supreme.
Until Omega Supreme, who was super active.
Yo, when they showed the shadows of them, I'm like, Omega Supreme. Oh my God, they're gonna show Omega Supreme.
The fact that you saw more of the politics of what was happening on Cybertron, not just the fighting. Right. You saw they had that meeting in the beginning, the supposed ambush, and how Megatron made the people of Cybertron think, oh, you see, look, they tried to do this. So, and you saw the reality, it's not reality, but you saw a lot more nuance to the story of why they were fighting, the gamesmanship that was going on between Optimus and Megatron. You saw a lot of the respect and valor that there was there. There was a lot of talk about honor, especially with Jetfire, who, although was a Decepticon, was all about the honor in terms of how they conduct the battle.
Does Jetfire in every version of Transformer started as Decepticon?
Yeah.
All right. I'm like, is he going to turn a good guy again? Yeah, there he is. Okay. Yeah.
And then the fact that even in the beginning, I feel like, I don't know if this is intentional because I'm not that versed on the history of Transformers, but is this early? I mean, I know there was obviously Cybertron and then they came to Earth, but is this early in the story of the battle on Cybertron? Because I feel like we're seeing an early Optimus because the what's her name, Alita, was questioning him a lot of times.
Alita 1.
Yeah, she was outright questioning his decisions to his face, even sometimes in front of the other Autobots. And I'm like, I don't remember anybody ever doing that to Optimus on that level. Right. So I almost felt like he was like an early leader, building up his rep, so to speak.
Well, the war had been going on in this movie. The war had been going on for a while. Like you see, if Cybertron's completely ravaged and stuff like that. But where G1 picks up is, you see how they at the end they went through the space bridge, they threw the Ark through the space bridge, and then Allspark through the space bridge, and then the Ark ship goes through the G1 picks up when they crash land on Earth. So this is basically a prequel. This part is like a prequel to G1.
That's how I felt. Yeah,
that's what I thought was gonna happen.
Yeah. So you're not necessarily seeing an early Optimus, but it's earlier than what we're used to.
Yeah, because if this is right now, if the next stage is them on Earth, I feel like there was
Wiki?
a lot less. Yeah, there was a lot less respect I felt being shown to Optimus. There was a lot more. Yeah, like I don't feel like what's the word? Like when they show fealty to him, like as if okay, he can't be questioned. Like I feel like that's there in every other Transformer.
The word is trust. They don't trust him as much.
Yeah, I don't feel like that's there. Now all of a sudden it's there, and I don't feel like even with this it was earned. I feel like okay,
yeah.
I don't feel like it's earned. So
actually
so go from this to what they show in every other movie. I'm still waiting to see that part.
Yeah. To your point, Al, that's actually like what I enjoyed the most about this was just like you said, every Transformers cartoon is always Optimus. You know, Optimus is here, Optimus is our leader, Optimus is this. And almost every iconic Transformer that they met across the way was like, we fucking hate Optimus. Fuck this guy for what he did to our planet. You know, like all like and they're Autobots, you know, when they came across Ratchet, you know, and Ratchet's like his number 2, and it's like for him to treat him that way, you know. So I actually like to see that. Yes, he was still the leader at this time, but he's not respected by anyone. So I want to see where this goes to the point where he is Optimus, where he becomes that Optimus. I want to see how this gets there because you know he left off with Alita like questioning him every move. She went behind his back. She did this and that, you know. And this is someone that loves Optimus. This is someone that considers herself his partner, you know. And it's just like to see even like Bumblebee, not even an Autobot yet, really, you know. Even though at this point, spoilers, he has the
we're in the spoilers, King. Don't worry.
But like you know, to see this start up with him not even an Autobot, him not even caring about being an Autobot, to knowing that he becomes that Autobot soldier that is the kind of lead example of what an Autobot should be under Optimus Prime. So I really liked from this story how that took all of those roles, tossed them out the window, and now it's let's see how we get there.
Gotcha. And the rest of the story for you, Brandon?
To be honest, you know, there was a lot of hit and miss for me. You know, I told you guys I love Jetfire. Jetfire is like my number 1, but I didn't feel like his transformation was really fluent. Like when it came up the way it did, because the way he kind of showed himself off in the first 3 episodes was very like not about that. And then when that moment happened where he decided like, no, I'm not about taking out a whole race of people, was like, I don't know, you didn't seem that way 2 episodes ago. Like you were all about Starscream for the sake of just being fun, you know. So like, some of it was like I'm happy that happened, but I didn't think that was very translatable. I didn't think it worked that well.
Well, I looked at that part like this: is that when they were attacking Optimus and the other Autobot soldiers per se, right? They're soldiers in a war. And then when Megatron was talking about reconfiguring every Autobot, you got to understand, not every Autobot's a soldier, right? Optimus Prime and his crew, they were the soldiers. So now what Megatron is talking about, like, no, we're going to reconfigure civilians. So it's like, I get it. Like that's where like any honorable soldier would like, listen, war is war. They picked up a gun. I picked up a gun. So we're going to go at it. But like the point when Megatron said, no, we're going to just do away with even the civilians. He's like, yeah, that's not what I signed up for. Yeah. You know, so I mean, it was fine. It was okay for me understanding like, you know, what a soldier would think, an honorable soldier would think when it comes to attacking another soldier versus a civilian who's unarmed.
And then they offed your boy, Sanj. They offed your boy.
Freaking Magnus. And you know what? I like the role that Magnus was playing because because you have
he was the battle commander, right?
Yeah, he was the battle commander. Yeah. Not only that, you have 2 extreme guys, Megatron and Optimus Prime, both at the extreme of their viewpoints, right? And you have Magnus in the middle, like, listen, we're all brothers. Like we were once all brothers fighting for the same thing. And then like, why can't we sit down? Like Magnus went and said, we need to sit down and talk this out. I can get Prime to understand to take the truce, you know, and whatnot. Like Ultra Magnus has never had that type of role. He's just been like a loyal soldier, just like every other Autobot, like just doing what Optimus Prime tells him to do. And like I I like how Megatron like really like called Optimus Prime out. Like, you talk about equality, you talk about this, you talk about that. What about when we were the ones in the mines slaving away, predetermined. We were born to be in the mines while you guys sipped Energon. You know,
right. Yeah.
that like really put it in perspective. Like, oh, Megatron might be right. Yeah.
Yeah. Insane, man. I gotta say that one of the things that I really enjoyed about the watching Transformers was it was like not everyone was just bad to be bad. It was like bad because of a reason, like Sanjay said about Impact. One of his things was, you know, you guys are out there sipping wines. We were over here, you know, working hard in the mine tunnels. And then even all the good guys were like, listen, we're good, but Jesus, we don't see things this way. And like Ultra Magnus was against them. Ratchet was against them. And by the way, you know, I saw my boy Hound was in the movie. RC showed up in episode 6. You know.
Okay, so as an aside, this is not exactly a family show. So is it just me, or did like anyone else want to see like Optimus Prime and Elita 1 like just kind of do it, because there was like that tension between like, come on, like are you guys gonna do it? Like, come on, you know? Is it just me?
In one of Sanj's famous words from our podcast, it was implied enough, Sanj.
I mean, I wanted to see how Autobots would do it. I'm just saying. Let's do it Let's do it Autobot style.
Oh my gosh.
Crazy, man. But listen, man, as far as the story goes, I mean, like you said, Ultra Magnus, when he took it, I was like, wow, that's insane. And you can see that this is a little different. But for me, I honestly, one of the things that kind of took me out of this show was the dialogue. I think some of the dialogue was just super cheesy, very like even Optimus Prime to me, I felt like he was talking like he just ran a race. Like he was saying one word, and like Autobots, we must fight. I'm like, dude, speak. You know, like. And then,
well, I think that has to do with the voice actor's inexperience with doing the voice in a movie or in a production.
Right.
Because he was just trying to copy the meter of how we're used to hearing Optimus Prime. And I just think that it's just his inexperience with the character is showing. Like like I said, the sound was there, but he wasn't able to capture the personality that has been created over 4 decades.
Yeah, man. But like even the words, like I said, the dialogue from even the Megatron when he was talking to Shockwave or to Soundwave and to Jetfire and Starscream, it's just like some of the words and some of the ways that they spoke to each other. It was just like I was thinking to myself, maybe this is made for kids, but then at the same time, some of the stuff you saw, the way that they handled things was very raw.
Yeah.
So it wasn't made for kids. You know, I think kids can watch it if they're, of the age to see violence and stuff like that. But honestly, I did just, like I said, the dialogue was cheesy to me, and that's what kind of threw me off of this whole thing, this whole chapter 1 for Siege. Also, like when I think about the entire show, for me, only one thing stood out that I really recall besides Ultra Magnus, taking it, was Jetfire when he was being chased by the Seekers, and he kind of like flew behind them, shot them, transformed, shot some people with a sword, and then turned around, transformed, and left. Was like the most memorable thing where I was like, oh shit, like everything else was just like, okay. And I was blown away by the fact that it was a prequel to me. Like, this is something that I didn't see. I know what happens to the Transformers when they get to Earth. This stuff that happened beforehand is the stuff that was really interesting. I was like, wow, this is really, really cool. But, it just didn't do it for me for some reason, man. I was really surprised that I was let down a little bit by this. But as far as, like, I see what you guys all think about the story and everything, and you guys all said you're all looking forward to a Chapter 2. Like, is there anything that would not want you to see Chapter 2? Sanj?
No, I'm definitely gonna want. I'm looking forward to Chapter 2 already. Like I want to see it, But yeah, again, I just hope they improve and where they go with the story and how they do the characters.
Gotcha, man. And Al, for yourself, man, anything with the Chapter 2 here for you? You just wait for it, or you're not really looking forward to it, or?
No, I mean, I'm not. I wouldn't say I got it on my calendar marked for when it's coming out, but I'll watch it when it does come. I'm sure they'll notify me that it's available. I just hope that they do a little bit of a twist, like the way they did a twist here. Do a twist now to the story of when they were on Earth. Like, don't just recite and modernize the same story they told originally. Like change it up a little, do something new and unique. Have maybe characters that didn't make it to, that were there. Because remember, back then, every Autobot and Decepticon, no matter how many lasers were fired, they all lived.
Right.
And even
except,
in this series,
except when they decided to kill off Optimus Prime.
Well, that was the Transformers.
They'll never let them down for that. They'll never let that down.
But
fucking Rodimus.
Since they're being realistic, like to see some more realism and just a change in the story a little bit.
Gotcha, man. And Brandon, for yourself, Chapter 2, looking forward to what they do on Earth if they go straight to Earth.
I am. Of course, I love to see a series. So whether they continue on or not, I'm gonna see it. I just hope. I don't know if this takes away from the narrative that they've already kind of established with this. I kind of hope that they lighten up a bit, because my thinking is, if they get to Earth, if that's where they're heading is Earth, the one thing I don't want to see is like them just decking off every city on the planet, trying to find the Allspark. Like I want them to lighten up a little bit and have that fun and let them be Transformers for a sec. Like I know this is war. I know war isn't funny and or fun, and it's never portrayed that way unless you're watching the Transformers cartoon where you don't realize it's war. But like in this instance, you are kind of putting the Transformers out there, and I do want to see the Transformers be the Transformers and not just be like Russell Crowe. I'm tired, and I'm angry. Like I don't want that.
I hear you, man. All right, man. So listen, I'm glad you guys got a chance to watch it, and you guys somewhat enjoyed it there. I enjoyed it just to see Transformers again on TV. It was awesome, and again to see the prequel to what before they landed on Earth. That was kind of awesome, because I think the only time we all got to see that was Bumblebee, the beginning of Bumblebee.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I will say one twist that I would really like to see.
Go for it.
No Rodimus Prime. That would make me so happy.
Yeah, I was surprised we didn't see him. What's funny? When I was like, who's Alita and Moon Dancer and Red Alert? And then when they didn't go on the ship, I'm like, oh, that's why I don't know them.
Well, I know Alita 1. She was always Optimus Prime's girl, so.
Yeah, I've never heard of Alita.
Yeah, she was in G1. She was in G1.
Yeah. Oh man, don't remember any of that, man.
Because remember, in the later seasons, they go back to Cybertron. Like they activate a space bridge and they're able to travel back and forth. And Cybertron is like, hustling and bustling and like rebuilt and whatnot. So yeah, there's that.
All right, cool, man. So listen, guys, if you haven't seen Transformers War for Cybertron, give it a look. If you're watching on the podcast, if you're watching the podcast on YouTube, give us a little comment down below. Let us know what you thought of the movie or the 6 chapters there for Transformers. If you're listening on the podcast, shoot us a little email. Let us know what you thought of that Transformers on Netflix there for us. And then the last thing we'll leave off today is, since we watched Transformers, and again, I wasn't really too impressed with the War for Cybertron there. I started thinking about my top 3 Transformers movies, and it was really easy for me to do, and I want to see if it's easy for the guys as well, or if we all have the same top 3. So let's just go with the number 3 first for all of us there. I'll give mine first. My number 3 movie for the Transformers universe is actually Bumblebee. When that movie came out, me, Brandon, and my other brother there, we saw it in Virginia. We went to go check it out, and we were pleasantly surprised because of what we saw from the Transformers, their own little universe movies. We're talking The Last Night, Age of Extinction, Revenge of the Fallen, Dark Side of the Moon. And it's just like, out of all those movies, Bumblebee is the one that made me think like, okay, I can go back to see another Transformers movie. Because if Bumblebee sucked, that was it. I was done. So Bumblebee is my number 3. Al, what's your number 3 movie for your Transformers universe rankings?
Same one, kid.
Bumblebee.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, because all the other ones that you said, Revenge of the Fallen and all that, they were great to watch. In terms of just like if you put it on mute just to see what they were able to do with the graphics and everything, but in terms of what they did with pushing the Transformer story along,
you just put it on mute and just let it happen.
Yeah, because it did nothing for pushing their story along and making you interested in what was still happening with them. But it was great to watch.
Yeah, nothing's ever gonna make me forgive them for what's the Constructicon? The all the construction vehicles. What is it? Devastator.
Devastator. Yeah.
Devastator.
Yeah, Devastator with nuts. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna forgive them for that.
One of my favorite.
And they had the Cholo Transformers do it. the Cholo Transformers had to fight them. Come on,
ridiculous. Sanj, what's your number 3 Transformer universe movie there?
Number 3 would be Dark of the Moon.
Dark Side of the Moon. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Anything particular about that movie stood out for you, man?
In particular, couple things. Leonard Nimoy voicing Sentinel Prime.
Right.
Them introducing the Sentinel Prime character, I thought was really, really good. And then the battle scene, the final battle scene, where Optimus Prime, where Megatron said, where it's the two Primes and Megatron fighting each other, and Megatron has both of them down, and he said, "What would you be without me, Prime?" And Prime says, "Let's find out." And like this, finally he fucks Megatron up the right way. You know what I mean? Like, and then it's like, wait. You got one arm, and you could have fucked him up like that the whole time, and you let this go on this long. But I mean, seeing like Optimus Prime come through with that edge, you know, like that right there was crazy.
All right, Brandon.
And then, I'm sorry. And then when he's done, he freaking shoots Sentinel in the head. He's like, "You betrayed yourself." Boom.
Crazy, Brandon. You're number 3, Brandon.
Gotta be Bumblebee. You know, Bumblebee made Transform movies fun again. You know, I think after after the Dark of the Moon, it just wasn't like fun anymore. You know, watching the Transformers movies, they just got very over convoluted with the story, to the point, like, even though Transformers itself can be a convoluted story to really track down, it was just way too much, and they tried to do way too much with everything. Didn't make sense. So Bumblebee made Transformers movies fun again, made it enjoyable to watch, and I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, man. I think they started trying too hard with the Witwickies and Mark Wahlberg.
Mr. Wickety.
Yeah, let's get to our number 2 there. My number 2, I think our number 1s and number 2 is going to be the same, pretty much, flipped around maybe. I was surprised my number 1, what it is, and number 2 for me is actually the Transformers, the animated movie. I thought that was gonna be my number 1.
Nah, you bugging. You bugging.
I really thought that was gonna be my number 1 movie. But if I had to choose signs right now, which one would I watch? It'd be my number 1 movie.
That movie's like Star Trek 5 to me. You know what I'm saying? In the Transformer universe, simply off of one line: "Rise, Rodimus Prime." that right there. Not only did they kill Optimus, and then be like, "Rise, Rodimus Prime." Come on, man, get the fuck out of here.
They didn't get you when they straight up blew up Ultra Magnus,
and then they reassembled him.
Too crazy. I don't know. That movie always hits me right here. That animated movie brings me back. I remember seeing it for the first time in the theaters, and I remember owning it and buying it like 2-3 times because I lost it the first time, and then damage happens. So I definitely bought it like twice, man. But Transformers, the animated movie, is my number 2. Al, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is the Transformers movie that came out with Shia LaBeouf and all that in 2007.
The first one?
That's my number 2. Yeah, the first one, the original one. That's my number 2.
Yeah, man, that movie was exciting. I remember seeing it in theaters with Sanj, Astoria.
That was
Brandon.
Crazy.
Oh, go for it.
No, it was just gonna be. It was crazy, and just like you said with the cartoon, that first time you hear them put the Transformer sound of them when the helicopter changed and took form, it was ridiculous.
Absolutely. Brandon, what's your number 2 Transformer?
I'm gonna say Dark of the Moon. Just like I'm gonna say I hated when they killed off Ironhide the way they did.
Yeah, it was fun.
But yeah, it was brutal. But I would say in terms of, I only count the first 3 Transformers movies as real movies. So in terms of how they handled the second movie, I didn't like, even though Jetfire is in there and I love Jetfire, I thought they really kind of botched how that worked. And a lot of the movie, and I don't like when they kill off Optimus. It's not a good time. because it's always how do we revive Optimus instead of how do we move on kind of a thing. So that second movie kind of drawed on too much. So Dark of the Moon, having that story that was very dark, but all about how to get our name back, how to do this, how to stop Sentinel Prime and all that. Especially what Sanjay said, that ending fight between him and Megatron and him and Sentinel, it was incredible, especially with one arm, you know. So I thought that movie was, in terms of the first three movies, I would say that movie was really awesome. I would say it was just as good as the first one. Yeah, I mean, sorry, it's just a little under as good as the first one.
All right, Sanjay, number 2.
My number 2 would be Bumblebee, because it really did make Transformers like fun again. A simple story, like they did keep it real simple and kept the story compact, where there wasn't too much going on, and they kind of really focused. I enjoyed really seeing a movie focused on Bumblebee.
That was awesome, man. And then we'll get to our number 1s, man. And my number 1 is going to be that first Transformers movie, live action. Like Al said, man, that opening scene in the army camp is it Barricade, Sanjay?
No, that's not Barricade.
No, Barricade is a police officer, right?
Yeah, Barricade is the police officer. Car. Oh, man. I can't remember the name of the helicopter. I can't remember
the helicopter either. But when he... Oh, and you just see the
you know why? Like, that first scene made it feel like a Terminator movie. Yeah. Like, the way they came in and everything. Like, it felt more like the Terminator movie with Christian Bale.
Right.
You know, they had that feel, which is really cool.
I like the way they built up that first part of the movie. I mean, if you guys think about it, we didn't get Optimus Prime till 45 minutes in. And when he came in, oh man.
All hell broke loose.
Oh man, I remember that theater. I remember Sanj. When he transformed and you saw Optimus, oh my goodness, just insane. And that whole ending fight across the highway and all that stuff that happened, it was man, I don't know what happened after that one, but that was fantastic. Sanj, you're number 1.
I would agree with you. That first Transformers live action movie, it brings. I mean, because remember, we hadn't seen those characters in that way at that point, what, 20-something years?
Yeah.
You know, like 20. Let's say 20 years. So like we really hadn't had them that way, and it was just when Optimus, well, you saw when he landed, you saw when he took the form of the truck, but that was just like a tease. But then when he rolled up and transformed, I lost my shit. I like absolutely lost my. But it wasn't just that I lost my shit. The entire theater lost their shit in that one. And Optimus Prime got a standing ovation, like from the entire theater. Like, it was just the energy around seeing him and then hearing the voice again. You know, it was so incredible, and just seeing the, you know, so, and it was a good enough story, and like they introduced some new characters.
Uh-oh. I lost signs on that one. Oh, there you go.
I just really enjoyed that movie and for the scenes that they had and introducing everything again.
That first night was an event.
Yeah.
Al, you're number 1.
My number 1 is Transformers the animated movie. Just because, that's my number 1. Only because, like, the live action, to me, the excitement was of how much time had passed since the cartoon was last seen, and then seeing them bring them to live action made that. But to think that I can still think back to that animated movie and remember the scene of when they say, "You got the touch," and then you see Optimus, because he changes and then he drives down the hill and he's running over Decepticons, and you see them in his grill, and he's and just thinking like, yo, this is a cartoon movie I'm watching right now, and I'm standing on my chair saying, yeah, kill him. Like,
I think my favorite part is that never happened during the cartoon, and in the first 5 minutes of Transformers the movie, everything will turn upside down. They're bucking people over.
Nothing ever tops the cassette fight. eject. All the little guys came coming out, and then he sets his people out. Oh, dude.
Can you just say it one more time for me? That was great. Just say it.
I'm just letting y'all live right now because y'all are bugging with that animated movie. Any movie where they kill off Optimus Prime in the first few minutes and then don't bring him back, like, come on, that's not worth it.
Bro, he dies in almost every movie, man.
I don't even got nothing to say to that, bro.
They're not even worth it.
I will say I wasn't a big fan of Revenge of the Fallen, but I will say that movie had more scenes where like I felt like viscerally hurt, you know, because so when
Optimus gets impaled.
when Megatron, you know, impales Optimus Prime, and then Optimus is like begging for his life, like, no, Megatron, and then Megatron powers up, and you see, boom, and like that and Optimus like dies a slow death, like, you know what I'm saying, like that like hurt me, and then when they transport Optimus's lifeless body and they just drop him. I remember all of us was like, "Oh, come on, how you gonna do?" We were watching the movie and we're like, "Come on, have some respect. That's Optimus Prime." Like, you know, we were really pissed off at that. But then
they just let him off the helicopters.
And we were all like, "Oh, come on, what the fuck? Yeah, come on." Yeah. But then after like the build up, when Sam finally, like, when the Matrix reformed and Sam like and
sock.
Yeah, and he just cocked back and slammed it into Optimus's chest, and Optimus re-energized. That was like, yeah, you know, like, yeah, you know, that movie got me in those, but I'm like, you know, come on, the animated movie, I can't with you guys right now, man.
Oh, we have to watch that over again, son.
We got.
Brandon, what's your number one Transformers movie?
It's got to be Transformers the movie, 2007.
Ah, man.
It made you believe that the Transformers could come back. It made you believe that they were there. Michael Bay killed it with those graphics, because that was our number one gripe, was like, you know, other than Avengers, like making Avengers real and making that actually make sense or making it work, it was, how do you make the Transformers look real enough to actually believe it? And when they showed up in that alleyway, like, I mean, let alone when Bumblebee like semi-transformed on the lawn and everything, like, you're like, oh shit, all right. And then when they all show up, you're like, oh shit, all right. Like,
what's cracking, bitches?
I mean, I'm just saying, 2007, the Transformers movie makes you believe in hope again. Barack Obama gets elected that November. Coincidence? I think not.
The only thing that took me out a little bit from the movie was when they were in his yard, because he was trying to get all of the, like, the glasses and everything. Yeah, tiptoeing. Really? Robots that big and heavy tiptoeing around in a yard and not being seen when they looked out the window?
Okay. Optimus was treating him like his girlfriend. He's like, all right. Oh, man, that's all right. That's cool, man. So listen, I'm gonna need you guys on the low to text me later on your ranking out of the top 8 there of these Transformer movies. So, but for now, thank you guys for giving me your top 3 for your Transformers. And listen, if you're watching on YouTube also, man, let us know what's your top 3 Transformer movies or Transformer franchise stuff. So if you want to let us know, comment below. And also, if you're on the podcast listening, you can always email us at therealfanreview@gmail.com, or you can go to our website, therealfanreview.com. All right, guys. Listen, I thank you guys for joining us this week. Really appreciate Sanj coming through. We got my brother B. Adios. We got Sanj.
Autobots, transform and roll out.
Roll out. My man in the chair, Al.
Have a good night, everybody.
And for myself, Hob, we thank you guys for joining us tonight. And we'll catch you on the next one. Have a good night.